Have you ever caught yourself doing this? Someone texts you, "Hey, can I talk?" And you already know how it's going to go. Not because they said much, but because you've been here before, many times. You'll say yes. You'll stay longer than you planned. You'll shift your evening, your mood, your energy, without even thinking about it. And somewhere in the middle of that conversation, you'll notice that you're no longer just listening. You're analyzing. You're figuring things out. You're trying to solve something that was never really yours to solve. And it's subtle. It doesn't feel like you crossed a line. It feels natural, almost automatic. Like this is just how you show up in the world. And when it's over, there's often a moment of quiet, a small pause. And inside that pause, there's a feeling, not dramatic, not loud, but there. Like you gave more than you had planned to give. Like you stretched yourself again. Like somehow you disappeared a little in the process. And the more you notice it, the more familiar it starts to feel. Because this isn't a one-time thing. It's a pattern. Someone is overwhelmed, you lean in. Someone is confused, you explain. Someone is struggling. You step closer, take some of it on, try to make it lighter for them. And you don't pause. That's the key part. You don't stop and ask yourself if you have the energy. You don't check whether you actually want to be in this. You just respond. Almost like your attention is trained outward. Like your system is constantly scanning for where you're needed next. And over time, this becomes your default state. You're always slightly alert, slightly tuned in to other people's emotions, slightly ready to jump in. And the strange part is, it can even feel good. There's a sense of control in it, a sense of purpose, a sense that you're doing something important. But at the same time, it slowly drains you, because somewhere along the way, something deeper gets attached to this. A quiet belief forms, not loudly, not consciously, but steadily. If I'm needed, I matter. And that changes everything. Because now helping is no longer just something you do. It becomes something that defines how you feel about yourself. So every time you step in, you don't just help, you reinforce that identity. You feel useful. You feel important. You feel like you have a place. And without realizing it, you start relying on that feeling. You start giving not only because someone needs help, but because something inside you needs that sense of meaning. And that's where it becomes complicated. Because now it's not just about others anymore, and the cost of this doesn't show up all at once. It builds slowly, almost invisibly. You start feeling tired, but not in a way that rest fully fixes. You start noticing irritation, small, quiet, but there. You feel like your attention is constantly split, and your own life starts moving to the background. Things you wanted to do, postponed. Things you needed, delayed. Things you felt, pushed aside. Because there's always something more urgent. Someone who needs you more. Something that feels more important in the moment. And then one day, you stop and realize you're not really sure what you want anymore. Because that question hasn't been about you for a long time. And there's another truth that's not always comfortable to see. Sometimes helping others becomes a way to avoid yourself. As long as someone else needs you, you don't have to face your own uncertainty, your own doubts, your own questions, your own unfinished things. You stay busy, you stay engaged, you stay needed. And from the outside, it looks like strength, like generosity, like someone who always shows up. But inside, it's heavy. And at the same time, something else is happening. When you constantly step in and fix things, you take away something from others too. Their process, their learning, their chance to grow through difficulty. So a pattern forms where you carry too much, and they carry less than they could, and no one really wins. So the shift doesn't start with changing everything. It starts small, with a pause, right before you say yes, right before you step in. A moment where you notice, am I choosing this or just reacting? A moment where you allow things to be unresolved for a bit, where you stay present but don't take over. And it might feel uncomfortable at first, even wrong, but something changes there. Helping becomes lighter, more honest, more real, because now it comes from choice, not from pressure. And slowly, you begin to come back to yourself, to your own life, your own needs, your own direction, not instead of others, but finally, with yourself included. And maybe that's the real shift, not becoming someone who stops caring, but someone who no longer disappears while caring. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.